Hey guys, welcome to the Color Me Mike podcast. So just a quick disclaimer up here at the top. Anything said during this podcast only reflects on me and or the guest. Sonity has nothing to do at all with anything that's being said here. Sonity is just a cool boba milk tea shop in Fremont, California that is kind enough to let us record the podcast here at their shop and kind enough to hook us up with some boba milk tea drinks. So everybody just chill and enjoy the episode. Have you ever had boba milk tea before? Are you into it at all? No? So this is your first time? Yeah, they're delicious.
I mean, I've had it, but I'm not a connoisseur by any means, so I didn't know to do all this.
And then
shake it?
Shake it all up so that the flavor gets nice and distributed. So you're having the black sugar pearl latte. This is actually one of their signature drinks here. And it's,
number 3.
Yeah, it's delicious. So when my wife and I reviewed this place during the grand opening, that's one of the 4 drinks we got, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. You know, I think we've been to 37 different, boba milk tea spots. Delicious, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Like my wife and I, when we say like this place is the gold standard, we're not kidding around. It really is the gold standard.
My daughter would love this.
Yeah.
She loves boba.
Yeah, and I'm gonna sound like I'm doing advertising for the place, but it really is the truth because all their ingredients are really high quality. They import it from a specific farm in Taiwan, so they're not taking any shortcuts here.
Wow.
And it really shows because when you go to like other boba spots that aren't trying as hard and they're on the cheaper side, you taste the difference. Yeah. So if those of you who are listening, we're here at Sana Tea and Dessert in Fremont. Look them up. They really are amazing. Not just because they're letting us shoot here and they're hooking us up with the drinks, but
it's delicious.
Yourself, right?
It's delicious. It tastes like well, he told me that the black sugar they actually saute. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not a chef. I don't know.
But whatever they do to it,
right?
they're doing. Yeah, it's like a creme brulee. It's like the top of a creme brulee. It tastes like that. It's delicious. Very good. So yeah, thanks for having me.
No, I'm so happy because like I said, this isn't my first podcast, and the hardest part is always getting people on, especially when you're a nobody like me, right? Who's gonna say yes? That's kind of why I wanted to keep it on the shorter end too, because it's easier to commit to 45 minutes as opposed to, I don't know, we might go 2 hours, we might go 3 hours, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm really just grateful you said yes.
Yeah.
But,
well, you're somebody to me.
Yeah. No.
You're somebody to me.
No, you
I see you
super,
around.
appreciative when I asked you. You
Absolutely.
Really,
Yeah. I'm appreciative when anybody asks me to be a part of anything they're doing because to me, I have kids. My time is valuable, and I assume I'm older too. Everybody's time is valuable.
Yeah,
I get it. It's a when people spend time with you, and it's an investment. They're taking time to notice you and recognize, the special things about you. At least that's at this point in my life. Those are the people I spend time with.
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of the more valuable lessons. And I don't know, because I'm 41 now, is really how precious time really is.
Right.
And you know what? You need to be more conscious on what you decide to do with it.
Right.
Like, you know what? If there's a gathering you really don't want to go to, don't go to it then.
Right.
You don't have to.
Sure.
Life is too short.
Right. And you're super attractive for an Asian dude. So I was like, oh, this is great. I get to just sit across and stare at Mike. Yeah.
Like I said,
perfect.
I feel like maybe it's hurting my stand-up career. No one's booking me yet. I don't get no. What do you, you're kind of on a roll now. You definitely have some momentum in terms of your stand-up. You're starting to really get booked regularly.
Every time I get booked, I'm surprised and I'm appreciative, and I hope
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I hope that doesn't change. I want this to remain something that I enjoy doing, something that I'm passionate about. So again, every time I get booked, I'm surprised. I'm always pleasantly surprised, super appreciative. And every time, every time I get booked, I have no idea when it's going to happen again, and somehow it just keeps happening. Somebody asked me to do a comedy skit to film next week, and I can't remember everybody's names. So, but that was something that I was like, okay, well, who's
Harvey Weinstein, right?
Yeah, no, right. No, I'm terrible at names. I'm not someone that can drop names. I can't drop names. I don't know a lot of names in comedy. Only the people that I've worked with, and the obvious names like Robin Williams was my favorite comedian, and everybody's always surprised that I say that, but Really,
Why would they be surprised? I don't know.
well, because I don't think that he's current. He's passed away, but I saw him live twice at Bimbo's, and he's a San Francisco. He lived in San Francisco,
lived in San Francisco.
And I remember Mork and Mindy, and so he was just someone that I grew up with, and I'm 47, so it's a little different.
He's a tour de force too. Like, you're not the same after one of his shows. It's like a tidal wave just came in.
Oh yeah, you can't even keep up with the jokes.
Yeah.
I saw back-to-back shows, and what he did at Bimbo's was called testing material, and I saw back-to-back shows, and he told the same jokes, but never the same way. And he was so witty and quick that you couldn't catch all of his jokes anyways. People were laughing at different things. It was like there was jokes all the way up, all the way down, the peaks and valleys of his show. So, I mean, super talented, obviously very troubled comedian, but one of my all-time favorite.
I think that's just part of what makes us comics is, I said it is Jamar, there's something in us that's, in all of us comics, that's a little fucked up.
He's a little dark.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know if that's what gives us our sense of humor, but I think it's definitely like, I was talking to Jamar I was asking him, like, did you know, like, deep down that you probably should be a comic? Because, like, for me, people always used to say, you know what, Mike, you have a fucked up mind of like a comedian. Because, I'm always making the jokes when they shouldn't be made, but I just can't help it. I can't resist.
Right.
I'm going to say it because it's too funny. I know it's super inappropriate, super wrong timing, but it's just going to come out because I get the thrill out of it. It makes me laugh. So, like, was it the same way with you?
Yeah, I mean, people ask me how long I've been doing this, and I'm like, forever. Like, since I came out of the womb, I've always been making people laugh. I started wanting to do stand up in high school, and I had a friend of mine that used to take me to comedy shows. She was a poet, so she would take me to open mics, but I had no idea what exactly an open mic was. I didn't understand it the way I understand it now, but she would have me read her poetry at these open mics because it would be, open mics for everything. So they weren't funny, but she would have me read for her, and there wasn't even a microphone at that point.
Really?
No, it was like a bar and you stood up in front of everybody and, so anyway, so I wanted to do stand up since then, but I really didn't know how to get into it. I didn't know about open mics like in this way. And then I had a medical issue. I almost died. I had an aortic arterial aneurysm in March.
Sounds super. Just this year?
Yeah, this year. And I had to have my main mammary artery embolized in 2 places. Ooh. So I was bleeding internally, and I was basically on a hospice drip for 4 days. And I had to recover, lay in bed, do nothing for 3 weeks. And during the pandemic, right before the pandemic started, I started looking at open mics. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, well, shit, I can't do that now. But then once this big health setback happened, I had this 3 weeks in bed to really think about the things in my life that I wanted to change and put into action. And stand-up was one of them. Wow. So as soon as I was on the mend, the day after my birthday's June 16th, my very first open mic was June 17th of 2021.
Wow. Where did you do it?
I did it at Winter's Tavern in Pacifica.
Okay. So you stayed close to home.
Yeah. So, I have so Pacifica is a very small town. I joke about this, quickly in my stand-up, but the reality is Pacifica is a very small town. My last name's Terranova.
That's really your last name?
I went to Terranova High School.
I thought it was like a stage name, but that's really your last name.
Yeah. So I'm third generation Pacifica. My kids would have been fourth generation, and take that back. I would have been second. My kids are third generation. My grandparents moved to Pacifica before it was incorporated. The city, the main street is Terranova Boulevard, and then the high school is Terranova High School. So naturally, because of my last name, everybody knew me. And then my father was an outlaw. Some crazy things happened in that small town with my dad that people just didn't forget.
Yes, you're infamous.
So yes. So when I was going to do stand up for the first time, I chose Winters to do it at because I knew I could get a lot of people there. And for me, the more people I know in the audience, the better I am, because I feel like I'm talking to my friends. I'm just shooting the shit with my friends.
And it went well, I'm assuming.
It went very well.
Okay.
Extremely well. I got invited to another mic, a booked mic, the following night in Hayward, and I did pretty well there, considering it was my second time.
So that was the true test right there.
Right.
The one in
It was a
Hayward.
biker bar. I have tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm decent looking. It went great. I mean, I know how to talk shit.
Yeah.
I don't rely on my looks. I definitely know how to.
I have to say, when we saw each other at a surf lounge, that one open mic, like it became really clear to me, like, oh yeah, Pacifica is definitely a small town. Like just as soon as I got in that bar, I felt that vibe and the people. And then when I saw you there and the way you worked them into actually paying attention to you, like you were already working the room before you even went up. It's like, oh yeah, Lonni definitely knows this territory. She knows these people. She knows how to work with them. It became super. You did a great job there.
Thank you.
The rest of us.
It's hard. Those rooms are
I tried to do
hard.
material there. No one's paying attention like that. I should have just like riffed and like fucked around, but it was a lesson I never forgot, because I don't know if you remember the next week when we saw each other in Concord at the office.
Yes.
I didn't start off with material. I got their attention right away.
Yes.
Just started fucking around with people, and then once I got them there, okay, I'm gonna start doing my material now. And that's what I was telling Miss Ninja. She was complimenting me. Oh, I really learned. That was great. I was like, I have to tell you, I made that mistake last week, and then I saw that you went in and you just told them, hey, can you just pay attention to me for 5 minutes? And,
Right.
Yeah, you got to do something to get them, right?
You have to do something to grab their attention. And I know I only got, I think it's going on 6 months that I've been doing this, but everything I learn, I try to share with my friends that I've made, in this community, other comedian, comics that are trying to make their way up. And all I can talk about are the things that work for me. And the things that work for me the most is getting to know the crowd. And I'll do that. I'm like a predator.
Yeah, I see you. You're literally mingling before your set.
Mingling, introducing myself, and getting to know the crowd before I get up there. And I think that is crucial. It's absolutely, I mean, when I very first started, I couldn't do that, because if I did that, I wouldn't remember what I was going to say, right? And because it's not completely memorized, but I do have a mental list of topics I'm going to hit. And there were certain jokes that I had to remember in a certain order, to tell a story, to be effective as an entertainer, right? That aspect. But the more I grow my chest or toolbox of jokes, the easier it is for me to start learning other aspects of what we do, which is getting to know the crowd, catering to the crowd. Like, the demographic at OMG is completely different than Martuni's. That's just San Francisco. Demographic in San Mateo, way different than Walnut Creek. I did the swinging door. I always see it, the swinging door. That's mostly comics, but there are some, it's a good crowd. And even the comedians there are pretty cool about paying attention and like actually giving you an audience perspective. It's not like that everywhere. Surf Lounge is terrible, especially when they're out back. When we were inside that one day at the Surf Lounge, that was great.
Oh, really? Because I heard the other way around, because the only reason I did Surf Lounge was other comics were telling me about it.
Yeah.
And they said when it was outside, it was amazing, because the bar patrons, they would voluntarily go outside, as opposed to being on the inside when we're just forcing comedy on them.
Right. If they're out there. But I mean, it's the same anywhere you go. An open mic is tough. I love Andrew DeLeon. He's great. But I think open mics are always tough when it's only comedians, like they're so wrapped up in what they're going to do because they're working out their material too, that it's hard for them to lend a real audience perspective, to whoever's on the mic. So I really appreciate it when comedians do give me that. You know, you usually do. Wally
I try to
does.
be the audience member that I want, honestly.
Jamar's great at that. My friend Alex Chavez, he's wonderful.
Oh yeah, Alex is great. You talk about the tattoo artist in Belmont.
Yes,
right? Yeah,
yes,
Alex is fantastic.
and he is just like, he blew my mind at Swinging Door.
Oh yeah, he hit. I feel like he hit his groove.
Absolutely,
because I've seen him regularly.
Right.
Like he was kind of slowly like figuring it out, but that night I feel like he really hit on something.
Oh yeah,
right?
He told a joke that I still laugh at.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear him tell it again.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you know it's a good joke.
Yeah. I told him that at Wally's mic at Hometown Heroes, and he was like so happy. I was telling him, dude, you really hit on something. You know,
Right.
That Swinging Door, I
Right.
felt like you found your groove.
Right.
Almost all of a sudden, it just worked for him.
Right.
I feel, I don't know, he's like, all of a sudden he's just talking about something he really wants to talk about. And that makes a difference,
Right.
I think.
Yes. Like, I feel like you really hit a groove when you were talking about your wife farting. I could hear those jokes all day. I was like, oh my God, this is like real. This is awesome. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, you catapulted me into a whole way of thinking. You know what I mean? Like, you can definitely tell when a comedian hits it, you know, kind of runs into something, he's onto something.
Has it, because you've been at it for 6 months and you're already, you know, getting booked regularly. Obviously, you know, there's still ways to go. We're running a little bit late, Newman, so all good.
Hi, Newman.
Actually, Newman, if you want to sit down, you can join us already if you like. This is what I had Lonni come in on Miss Ninja's episode. You just wake up, Newman? I know you're a party boy.
Newman, have you been up doing math all night again?
No, it's computer science.
Oh.
Yeah. You go and pull up a little bit closer. We'll get the mic to you too. We'll still do your episode. Actually, we ended up doing kind of like a threesome podcast with Miss Ninja and Lonni because Miss Ninja was running late. I'm sure the people are listening to this. Oh, this is so exciting to listen to. No, but it was fun when you joined in, right?
Yeah.
It was definitely.
This is great.
No, but are you surprised at how fast it's happened for you in terms of, you know, you're getting booked now regularly?
You know, I really didn't have. Well, I didn't have anything to compare it to, but yes, from what I'm gathering, from what what other people are saying to me, you know, it is a blessing that I'm getting booked this quick. All I can say is, I was a hairdresser for 20 years and I really loved it.
You don't do it anymore?
Oh, no, I still do it.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, I got to pay the bills. Yeah. Comedy isn't paying the bills yet.
You're speaking in the past tense. That's
well,
fine.
no, I've been a hairdresser for 20 years, and I am trying to make a transition into comedy. I'm almost 50. I'm 47. It's a very physical job, and I love it, and I'm still passionate about it. But I would love to move into a new aspect of making money, and if I can do it with comedy, I would love to do it with comedy. What I was saying is I love doing hair. I feel like I had a natural gift for it and I did really well because of my passion and my love for the work. I feel the same way about comedy. And I feel like as long as you're doing something that you love, you're going to be good at it. You're naturally going to be good at it. You're going to find a way to be good at it, and successful, and the money will come, it happened for me with hairdressing, and I expect it to happen in this too.
I have to say that is one of the first things I noticed about you was your fantastic hair.
Oh, thank you.
That's good. I love women with short hair. I mean, you see my wife.
Yes.
Right? And I've always had a thing for women with short hair, but your hair looks, immaculate.
Oh, thank you.
And I noticed that right away. It's kind of like what Miss Ninja was saying, what she noticed about me. You're someone who really puts some effort into herself, and you can tell, okay, that's how they roll.
Right.
They like to look sharp, and I always like, oh, that always catches my eye.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that
Thank
catches
you.
every guy's eye.
Thank you.
I'm not exactly saying something that's so unique,
Right.
but I did notice that about you because obviously, I don't think we talked to each other until. It wasn't until that when I did the compound the first time, right? And I was there, and it was unavoidable that we had to talk, right?
Well, we had seen each other before, but I hadn't been introduced to you, and I hadn't formally met you.
Yeah.
But I'm once I meet somebody, I'm very friendly. I'll always say hello. I love seeing people that are familiar. So yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, actually, You hand that mic over to Newman real quick. Newman here. I remember Newman. I don't know if you remember this, but you were there the very first time I did stand up at Alameda Comedy Club. You remember that?
Was it in like June or something?
No, it was in August. So obviously he doesn't remember. That just breaks my heart. You know,
I'm sorry.
I thought we had a connection, but
August. Oh, was it the outdoor one?
yeah, it was outdoor.
Oh, yeah, I bombed at that one, so I'm trying to forget it.
But you know what's it's interesting? That very first time, I was like, I really dug Newman's comedy, and I'm not just here sucking his dick because he's here. No, but
Thanks.
I really know because I like the way you wrote it. It's like, oh, you know what? That's a joke I never would have written. Like, I don't want to give away the bit, but your rapping bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that bit is brilliant.
Thanks.
Personally, I really like that, and so it caught my attention. It's like, oh, you know, that's something I wouldn't have thought to write, and then it's like, oh, that really caught my attention. You know, and you only recently turned 21, right?
Yeah, I turned 21 like at the end of August.
Yeah, and then you've been at it for 2 years now.
Yeah, so I started in December 2018. Like that's the first time I did it, and then I was like, I did pretty good actually on my first one, and then I did my second one in like I think it was March of 2019, and I bombed, and I was like, fuck it, you know, like I have friends now, I don't need to do this. And then I think so I didn't do it the rest of 2019, and then at the beginning of 2020, that's when I started again. Like every week, I'd go to like Frascati in San Jose, and I'd do it there. I do it like 3 times a month.
I'm gonna pull it a little bit closer to you.
Sorry.
Fist away. It's okay.
Yeah, I did it I did it 3 times a month from January to like March before the pandemic happened, and then after that it was just like the Zoom shows, and that made me want to kill myself. So you know that was great. I've had a very weird comedy thing.
But you have such a head start on all of us. You're lucky to get started young. But you know what? I feel like for me, it's been an advantage that I've actually started later in life, because especially the kind of life I've lived, where there's been a lot of introspection. You know, I lived overseas for 7 years. I've been a filmmaker, videographer for the past 9 years. You know, telling stories and really trying to figure out, okay, what makes me me. So when I came into stand-up, I already had a very clear understanding of what my perspective is and what my voice is. And I just found it's made it so much easier to generate material. I don't know. Do you find the same thing, Lonni? Do you find that, starting later in life has actually helped you in terms of developing material?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like ultimately my perspective on life as an older woman, a single mom, and everything that I've done has led me to this point, and I have so much to draw from, and my perspective is so much more enlightened than it would have been before. So if there is any effect, ultimately I'm kind of a humanitarian. So I want to have an effect on the world. It's not just dick jokes, although I am using them to get people's attention.
Oh yeah, you're big about mental health.
I have a lot. Yeah. I have things that I'm super passionate about. And as soon as I have everybody's attention, I'll get into that more, but right now it's just more about getting people to like me, getting people to, connecting with people, by making them laugh, with low-lying fruit, if that's what I have to do. But it's really just about, settling into this world, this comedy world. It's, I feel like I've kind of found my people. I really like the people I've met in comedy. So the men, there's not as many women. I just don't meet as many women. The women that I have met, I really enjoy too. But I do kind of feel like I found my tribe. I haven't connected this well with anybody my whole life. I've always kind of felt like an outsider for many reasons, but I feel like comedians kind of all have like this dark, kind of weird sense of humor about things, and we can laugh about shit that most people can't. So in that way, I really feel connected to the community.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told Jamar too, because I'm not the kind of person that makes friends easily. That's never really been, the way it goes for me. But, when I started doing stand-up, it was kind of just surprised me how easy it was to connect, like you said, with people, because we're all fucked up in some sort of way. We all have that part of them, that switch in our brain that's just there's that switch in your brain that should tell you, what, don't say this. It's not appropriate to say it in this
Right.
context. Like for us, that switch doesn't exist.
Right.
Right. And it's like, oh, there's all these people exactly the same and not going to get offended at all. So it really is a collection of misfits.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree.
And then I don't think I've ever like vibed this well with people like right off the bat.
Right.
So you find the same thing, Newman, for you? I mean, you're a pretty popular guy. You got a lot of friends. So
I just like meeting new people. Like that's.
oh, I know you like meeting new people. I know you like meeting new girls. I don't know if you know this about Newman, Lonni. Apparently this guy's the master at getting numbers over here. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You don't. It just happens.
You don't have to be shy. There's nothing
It's
wrong.
it's fun.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
It's very fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. No, I like meeting comedians. I just like because most of my like close friends, I think, are also creative people. Like just not comedians. Like they're like YouTubers or like filmmakers and stuff like that.
So
And-
everyone's a little bit off kilter from the average, like
Yeah.
normal,
Yeah.
mentally healthy person.
Yeah, like I hate mentally healthy people. Like you're so boring.
Oh,
It's weird.
what was gonna? Oh, so obviously, I've been with my wife for 15 years at this point, so I have no idea what the dating scene is anymore. But back, when I was still single, in terms of getting numbers from women, I always found that was the easy part. It's like everything that happens after that, that's where you don't know if it's gonna work out. But I just found, like for me, if I would just go up and ask with conviction, like 7 times out of 10, you get that phone number. Is this still the same way?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I've never.
Yeah.
Like the only time that hasn't happened was at this rave when I was tripping on shrooms.
Oh, when you eat the whole bag?
Yeah, and then I was overthinking every step of the process, and I was like, is she single? Is this weird? Am I dying right now? Should I button up my shirt? Like shit like that. And
that's
then
a great bit right there. You should develop.
honestly, I think I should. I'll write that down.
yeah,
one
that's
day.
a great bit, man.
Yeah, but if you're not overthinking, I feel like just shoot your shot, and then I don't know.
Lonni, I mean, what's a good guy for, what's a good way for a guy to go up to you if he sees you somewhere, and, he wants to get your number and ask you out on a date? How would you like him to approach you?
So I never date men that approach me. I don't like feeling like prey.
Interesting.
I am a natural predator.
Okay. You're a cougar?
No, I'm a predator.
that's the way I interpret it.
I'm like, Mike, no, I'm not a cougar. I'm not a hyena either. That's like the other echelon of old, but no. No, I joke about this, but it's real. I am a predator. I like the hunt. I have, I'm not a lesbian, but I do have a lot of masculine energy, and like,
What a disclaimer.
right,
I'm not
right.
a lesbian.
Well, I mean, and I'll say it. I've eaten a lot of pussy, but probably more than you have, Mike. Probably
maybe,
more than you,
yeah.
Newman.
I buy that.
But I do. I love men. I do enjoy men, but I like to be in control, and I enjoy the hunt. I enjoy the pursuit. And it's probably, it has not worked out for me up until this point. I've been single for 3 years. I don't hunt or pursue anybody. Every once in a while, there's somebody that'll catch my eye. But at this point, that's really not what is important or what I'm focusing on in my life. I think that, sex is great. But as a woman, I have so much more going on in my life than the man in my life. And I feel like I wish that more women would focus on how they could make their mark on the world instead of, how their world is defined through the men that they're with.
Preach on, sister. Amen.
I mean, whatever you can say, as a man, it's just different. It's really different. Like this is like, performing tonight at Tiki Haven, right? I've had, I know comedians that I don't think are as funny as me, but men that got a gig there right away, So I think that as a woman, we have to maneuver totally differently through the world, and men predominantly rule, and so even when and I'm not like, I guess I am a feminist, but when it comes down to it, I really take a lot of pride in being independent and standing on my own and not really having to define myself by the man that I'm with, because it's life is worth so much more than that. It's just, there's so much more to do. But that's something I came across after my near-death experience.
Yeah. I'm sure something deep like that would come across your mind after you have a near-death experience. Yeah, you got a lot of layers to you, Lonnie. You're peeling it all off. And, I'm glad you brought that up about, people who aren't as funny as you getting booked. Because that's something I think about, I've been thinking about a lot more lately. I know, like, who am I to feel like I should be getting booked even though I'm only 3 months in? But, I mean, I'll just say it, I honestly feel like I'm actually better than a lot of these people who have been doing it for a while now. But one thing I've come to realize, I don't know how true it is, like, funny isn't exactly objective, right? It's a very subjective thing. What I find funny isn't necessarily funny to other people. So I think that's part of it when you see people that you feel like are not as good as you, but they're getting booked. But I think the bigger part of it is just knowing the right people more than anything.
Right. And when I do, let me correct myself. When I say that, what I mean is there are men who have less experience than me, not less funny, because that it is subjective. It's like very kind of personal, what kind of crowd you attract, and who finds you funny, your delivery, what kind of sets you're doing, clean versus raunchy. I'm really raunchy, but what I'm saying is there's men that with less experience than me who get more opportunities, or maybe they're not, not that I feel they're less talented. It's just obvious but because they're men, they get the opportunity, and there is a brotherhood that, it's not, I don't think it's done intentionally. It's just, there's more men in this,
very palpable
in this industry. There's just more men.
That's interesting, because if there is a brotherhood, obviously I don't think I'm involved. I'm in part
no,
of it.
I just said I don't think that it's. I said I don't think it's
my schedule.
Right.
Yep, I'm definitely not a part of that.
No,
brotherhood.
it's not intentional.
I know.
It's just like this undercurrent. It's like man to man. It's just, and I wish that women had that more. Had more of that.
Well, there's Pam Benjamin, right?
Pam Benjamin's great. Yeah.
Because Newman, I want to get your take on this because you've been at it longer than both me and Lonnie. I want to see what your opinion on this. But I tell this story about Pam Benjamin. She was booking. It was one of those things where she's trying to book like 45 different spots, right? And I remember I reached out to her. I asked to get one of those spots, and she didn't book me. And then I ran into her at home. That one time I tried to do Milk Bar, she was there. I went up to her and asked her about it, and she just told me straight up, what, the truth is, like, I just book people that, do my rooms and I like, because I already know. And I wasn't offended by that at all, because to me it just makes perfect sense. You're just going to book the people you know and book the people that you like. Right? And I don't think that's necessarily specific to, a boys club. I think that's just kind of human nature where, people are going to book the people who they're connected to. Right. And I can't take that away from them just because they're better connected than I am. It's like, it doesn't matter, if I might feel I'm a better comic, but I just know it's a lesson I learned the hard way in filmmaking videography. There were production companies out there that their work is really subpar in my opinion, and my work is 10 times better, but they were landing these big clients on a regular basis just because they had an in, right? Or maybe they had a dedicated, marketing person to really get that. So it's never about just being good. Being good is just not enough. And that applies to anything. Like even with hairdressing, I'm sure you can have been the most amazing hairdresser in the world, but if the right people didn't know about you, you're not going to get clients. What's your take on it?
Right.
Since you've been around longer than any of us.
First, a very unrelated question.
Okay.
We get free drinks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Okay, second, the connection thing I feel like is very important because, like, I don't know, like people need to know you to like Pam, I get, like if you've never done one of her rooms, like she's never going to see you. And these are like paid shows, like people pay to get there. You get paid money. It's going to be weird if you're just like an open micer who just screams into the mic and then just by talking to her, you get booked. But I don't know, maybe like, I think if you send a tape or something, they should like, at least like, I don't know. I don't book things. I don't know how many like messages they get, but I feel like you should check tapes if that's a thing. I don't know. Like
Well, I will say this. After introducing myself to Pam Benjamin that one time, I think like a month later, she was looking to book for like 40 something spots again. I asked to be booked again, and I sent her a link, to a video uploaded. And this time she did book me.
Oh,
for
dope.
that. So, but I feel like if I didn't introduce myself that first time, probably wouldn't happen.
No, yeah, Pam's really nice because she
No,
does
she's
check tapes.
fantastic,
Because
yeah.
when I,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's a funny person too. When she went up at that one dreaded night we won't.
oh
speak,
yeah,
she was great.
she was great. No, she's very like, she has a nice energy.
Yeah, and she was like an attentive audience member too. I mean, we know how empty that room was. That
Oh,
night.
dude, it was two
and
people.
she paid attention to to my whole set, and she was laughing
Yeah.
her ass off. But yeah, so I don't know. So I mean, you've been at it 2 years, right? What do you think is getting in your way, Newman, in terms of getting booked?
Right now I think it's just the connection thing.
Yeah, because I don't think it's definitely your material solid.
Yeah, no, I've been like reaching out more, planning on like at least like this month reaching out to more people. I kind of already have a show I got booked for in LA that I'm doing this Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to make that trip
So
there.
what's this show?
Huh?
What's the show?
It's at the Haha Comedy Club or
Okay.
something. Yeah, and that'll be fun.
How did that come about?
I'm on the LA comedy scene Facebook group too. And some guy was like, I need comedians, send me a tape. And I just sent him one. He was like, dope. And I was like, cool. And then, it just happened.
So you're gonna drive down just for that?
Yeah,
There you go. You're living the real, comic dream there. You're really going after
I mean, I have a
it.
friend who lives there, so I'm just
Okay.
gonna crash at his place for a little bit. But yeah, it'll be fun. I've always wanted to go to LA. I haven't been to LA in a while.
Well, Lonnie, since obviously things are happening pretty fast for you. What would you say has helped you in terms of getting booked and being able to generate that for yourself?
Well, because of the brotherhood, that cock that I bring on stage. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like an unofficial
I'm just
member.
kidding. I really think the dick has actually the dick has actually hurt me. Prop comedy is frowned
I
upon.
haven't seen you bring it up in a
Well,
while.
because I don't want to use it as a crutch. I mean, it's big enough, but I just don't. I didn't set out to be a prop comic. It was something that I used just as a grounding
I
technique.
don't see you as a prop comic.
No, but it is a prop. And, in fact, I don't strap it on and fuck people with it. So it is a prop. so I don't know what is helping me. Like, why have I been getting booked so soon? I think that I'm likable. I think that I'm different in the way that I think that you're not just booking me to do a show. You're booking someone that's going to come in and be a part of your whole production. Like I come in and I introduce myself to the audience. I'll sit with the audience. I'll laugh with the audience. It's not just, I'm not just coming in doing a bunch of rehearsed stuff that I have memorized. I'm actually really trying to connect with the people that are in the audience and just be funny. Like I'm sitting here with you, just kind of off the cuff, like I would, with any one of my friends. I try to at least, and then I have my jokes that I've been working on, that fill in the bulk of the time. But I think I think that being attractive has a little bit to, it doesn't hurt me. At least that's what I hear. It's not my opinion, but that's what I'm
I see
told,
that. Casting, I think, is a part of it, particularly for a woman. Like we talked about with Miss Ninja. I think it only helps women. But you said there is a certain line where
There's
it
a
can
fine
be
line.
distracting, right?
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
want to bank on it too much, but
Absolutely.
for me, whatever gets you to the dance, and once you're at the dance, you'll prove your worth with your material.
And I think being likable and friendly is really really important. I think that's what people enjoy. I think that's kind of what and I remind people that I'm out there. All the producers that I meet, I'll send them a message like, hey, remember me? Do you have anything open in the future? I'm a single mom, so I need to put everything goes on my calendar. I just remind people, gently. I'm not too aggressive about it, but and I appreciate everybody that gives me any of their time. I always send a thank you, and I'm always really excited for the gig, like no matter what it is.
Yeah, I want to book you right now, just the way you're talking.
Yeah.
I get it. So basically, what you're saying is you're the opposite of Newman's depressing energy.
Right.
Because I don't know if you guys know, that's kind of Newman's reputation.
I think Newman just, I think he's just misunderstood. He likes to do a lot of math.
Those numbers.
And math. Your math joke. I love your math joke. I told you your math joke.
You have a math joke?
Well, he says math, but I always think of math, of course. It's a great joke. I can't wait for him to tell it again. I love every time he tells
I
it.
remember that one.
Well, it's his secret weapon.
Have I heard it?
It's going to get famous from this joke.
Okay, do you want, Lonni, let's wrap it up because I am trying to keep
Yep.
these around 30 minutes and we're at 41
Yes.
minutes already. I know you got to go do 3 shows today. I don't want to hold on to you too long. Yeah.
I'm doing Tiki Haven. They have 3 shows at the,
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'll be there from 5, 7, and 9.
Did you drop in on Wally when he did it?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
It was really funny. Like,
Yeah.
it was like right after a party we had. I was still like really tired. And so I was like, I just walked.
Okay. Yeah, Newman likes to go to parties a lot.
Well, he's young.
Well, you're at that age. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the one thing I forget. It's just funny you mentioned to me, Newman, when you and Wally ended up hanging out that one afternoon because I got stuck in the city with nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we were having lunch, and then like Newman pointed out when he was hanging at a party with his friends, it's like, oh yeah, these are the people I actually should be hanging out with, people my own age. Because here I was talking about like immigration and things like that. I'm old enough to be this guy's dad. I forget.
Dude, I think you act like my dad's like 45. You're like, how old are
I'm
you?
41.
Oh, dude, this
I
is
could
so.
be your dad's buddy. I was like, this
This is
right?
beautiful, bro. Like I'm lit.
All right, Lonni, let's sit down. Let's get your socials real quick before you head out. Let's swing that mic over back to Lonni. So Lonni, obviously I'm not putting this podcast out right away. I gotta get something set up in terms of having it on Spotify and all those other things. How can people find out more about your stand-up dates and just what's going on with you in general?
They can find me at Lonni Terranova on Facebook. As a comedian, I have a comedian page. Lonni,
Spell that.
LONNI TERRANOVA, Lonni Terranova. And it's a comedy page on Facebook.
Remove the tape, Newman.
And then I did the same thing, Newman. Don't worry.
You guys are
And
just
then
listening. Newman was trying to put his straw in the boba milk.
I was just watching him.
I
was just watching him struggle. I loved it. No,
that's why he changed from computer science, folks. There you go.
Yeah. So Lonni Terranova comedy page on Facebook, and then Lonni_Fiona_Terranova on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being on, Lonni.
Mike,
Awesome.
thank you so much for having me.
Hey,
it was
you're one of my favorite
fantastic.
people in the comedy world. Yeah. It's like-
I'll be here anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Well, hopefully this continues. I'm kind of like my whole reason for this one. I just like talking to people in a one-on-one scenario, but because I feel like it's not only is it not enough to be funny and have the right connections, but going down the line, the more asses we can put in seats if we have our own following, I have our own audience, that goes a long way.
Sure.
Right? So
Sure.
I'm hoping like this can help out
Yeah.
with that too.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to connect with other comedians too.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, I'm horrible at networking.
Yeah.
That's not so. This is like kind of a way for me to network that works for me.
I think this is wonderful. I think what you're doing is great. I hope you do more of it.
Oh, yeah,
I hope
there's
to hear more of it
definitely-
and see more of it. You're definitely on my radar now. I knew that you were doing podcast or like reviews and stuff before, but I think you're now. I had no idea what to expect. I don't listen to podcasts, so I really didn't know.
there you go.
But now,
It's fun, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
now this is great. I enjoyed this. I love seeing Newman and Miss Ninja and you always.
I might actually just get another mic and mic arm because it's really been fun when when you were here and then when Lonni was here with Miss Ninja.
Yeah,
there was
absolutely.
a good dynamic with three.
Absolutely.
So I might try to do that. Okay.
I love it. Well, thanks for having me, Mike Newman. As always, nice to see you, man.
All right.
And I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
See ya. Hey guys, so thanks for tuning into the podcast, and a big thanks again to the fine folks at Sonity for letting us record the podcast here and for hooking us up with their delicious boba milk tea drinks. My wife Kristen and I review boba milk tea spots all over the Bay Area. Believe me when I say that Sana Tea is definitely one of the best boba milk tea shops around. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at SAN as in Nancy, and as in Nancy again, A19, that's sana.na19 on Instagram. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to hit that follow/subscribe button and make sure to give us a 5-star rating to give us some algorithm love. Okay? Thanks for listening.